Hello and welcome to my little world here in northeastern Washington State. I'm Helene and this is Cabin Fever Crochet. Welcome, welcome everyone. I'm having a little bubbly, my LaCroix bubble water in passion fruit. And you might be wondering, well Helene, it looks kind of chilly. And it is. It's not terribly, it's not like burr cold. I brought out my gloves just in case. But you're thinking, well, why don't I have something hot to drink? Ah, but I do. Even with my initial on it, so I remember. That's me, the double-fisted drinker here. Sometimes I want a little something hot, and sometimes just something to wet my whistle. Well, I thought I would just come in for a little chat, see what you all are up to, how you're filling your time, your extra time in your days. And, you know, part of me is like, gosh, you know, do I really want to come on and talk about the virus? And then the other part is, well, how can I not talk about this elephant in the room, so to speak, that the whole world is dealing with right now? It's all on everyone's minds. And, you know, so besides crocheting or knitting and like what kind of other things are you doing? Those of you that have children, or are you reading books, playing family games together? Are you able to get outside some? Gosh, I sure hope so. This past week I was able to get out and start walking again, which was really great. Did a lot for my, you know, the whole mind, body, spirit thing. And I wanted to today and yesterday, but every time I think I'm going to get out there, it starts raining again. So because it is kind of damp, it's a little muddy, I decided not to. If you can hear tell in my voice, I still have some of that lingering. And I'm going to tell you this, what it's been, for a couple of reasons. Number one is I'm working on that tutorial as promised. I am, and then you saw the preview to that. And just so you know, don't be daunted by that yarn, because if you read the comment that I pinned at the top, yes, I'm going to be doing the tutorial in a different yarn, and then I have other examples in other yarns too, because you know, options, that's my thing. So because of my voice, and it's been a little more difficult in doing the tutorials and talking a lot, and I have to do them in segments and stop and kind of take breaks, because I've been pretty much, what do you call it, staying at home, the sheltering in place since the end of January, when I first got sick. I mean, I am very health conscious. I lead a healthy lifestyle, I exercise daily, all those kinds of things, and it really threw me for a loop, as the expression goes, and I haven't been knocked down like that in a long time, probably like 20 years. And it started out as what I suspected, maybe had a touch of the flu, a little stomach thing going on, and then I didn't really slow down, and I did something that I knew I should not have, is that I went walking and my hair was still damp in the back of my head in 20-some degree weather, and I get out there and I get after it year round, as I enjoy fresh air and nature and stuff, but I got cold, and then I snow shoveled and I sweated, and I got real chilled, and I stayed cold for a long time. And so a few days later, I started to feel some burning in my lungs, turned into congestion, and I've been to 3 different doctors, and all agree they really don't think at all that it was the coronavirus because of the symptoms, and I didn't have the fever, and then how it progressed. And because I've had bronchitis before, and immediately when I was out walking and I could feel the shift in my breathing, I was like, uh-oh, that doesn't feel right. And that's exactly what I thought it was. And then it turned into a walking pneumonia. Yeah. So that video up to the ski resort, which was on February 20th, 2020, that was 3 weeks into it, just starting to feel a little bit better. And we were just going to start out going for a ride just to get out for a little bit. And I had ordered some snowshoes and pole set. And I've been thinking on this for a couple of years, and I'm actually more a warm weather person. And I decided, you know, even though I get out, it's in the wintertime when we get those layers of ice snow built up, even with the real heavy duty cleats that are made for walking and running that I use outside, it still can be a little bit difficult. And then we have all this property and the snow built up. I thought, look, I can just sit in the house and complain about it, or I can come up with some type of winter activity sport that I can do and that I really enjoy. And from the moment I put those on and did, it was just amazing. You know, and like I said in the video, if you can walk, you can snowshoe. And I got the smaller profile so I wouldn't wind up tripping over myself, and then you don't have to do that cowboy walk either. And I got an entry-level set from LL Bean, and it was a great deal, and I got them at 25% off. So by the time that they came, we had that warm weather in January. Most of the good snow, at least around here, had kind of melted, and then it was just those layers of that hard, crunchy, concrete ice snow, which didn't really appeal to me. And then about a week or so later, we had really good, new, fresh powder, and then I got sick. So on February 20th, we decided to take that ride, and I said, okay, I'm going to bust those babies out of the box and take them with me just in case I feel up to it. And by the time we got up there, and it was probably 55 degrees on the mountain, but the air was still really cool and crisp, and it was amazing, that just that clean mountain air. And hardly anyone was around. They were closed that day as far as the ski lifts go, but the trails were still open, and they had the yurt and then pay honor system by the box. But I had, which came with my snowshoe set, was 3 free passes to the ski resort, so I didn't really get to use yet those. I think that the resort is going to be open maybe through mid or the end of April. I don't know, might close early this year just because of the warmer weather, but I'm not going to be able to go out there again this year because I'm still getting better and long past the contagious stage. But no, that probably wasn't the brightest idea to start doing outdoor activities and exercising to that degree when I was just starting to feel better. So like, I didn't get the bronchitis thing again, but my breathing became really affected, and I developed in my early 40s mild asthma, and probably from, you know, having had bronchitis a couple times before and a pneumonia when I was in my 20s after moving in the rain, and the scar tissue from that. But anyway, you know, I'm still a really active person, and it had been very well controlled to where 5.5 years ago I didn't even need to use the daily maintenance inhaler meds, just the rescue inhaler called the albuterol, maybe 3 times a year, depending on the weather, sudden barometric pressure change. We get what's called these air inversions here, and it really causes a lot of pressure on the body. Or if there's, like during the time where we have had wildfires in the area or through the state, those kinds of things. I should have recognized the signs, but I didn't, and I waited 3.5 weeks before I went to see the doctor, which I know, that's on me, totally. But then it took me 3 doctors later to really get a correct diagnosis and treatment, which is what I thought it was and had been saying all along. And it was a PA, a physician's assistant, but he specializes in lung, and he is really good. So he has me on a good regimen, and I haven't taken any kind of daily medication in a long time. That was just for the breathing. So I wound up coming home with a whole bag of that, and I'm feeling better. And I just started this past week getting out, walking a little bit, and I made it up the hill slowly, but I went more for just keeping my pace and went for distance rather than speed, because I tend to be a power walker too, and I do hills as well. I mean, I went from my daily walks and hills one day to having difficulty just walking across the room. Yeah, I'm dizzy and weak and the whole bit, short of breath and just coughing like from my toes on up. But I'm thankful that's behind me, so I'm being smart about it. Decided, no, I better not go walking in the rain today, even with an umbrella. But it is mild out here on the deck, so I really need to get some fresh air. So that's that. Please, I know you understand, just be patient with me on coming out with a tutorial, but I have it all set up and I'm working on it. And with other life stuff too, I have other responsibilities and obligations and things that I do, and lots of other interests too. And that's why I also like to give you a variety, mix up my videos sometimes, and hopefully a little bit or a lot of bit for everybody of this and that. And have to give my crochet hands a break sometimes, and my mind too, and just kind of let my mind and my spirit be. And that's where a lot of the creativity happens too. So my hat, what do you think of my hat? Isn't that a beauty, if I may say so myself? And I want to show you these wonderful, wonderful buttons. Can I get up real close, because I'm not taking it off? I will show them to you because I have extras here. Now this is the Yarnspirations to the Peak cap or hat, and I had to do my own thing with it, as you know, and because I have longer ears, and I need to have that ear coverage. They get cold really easily and start aching, always have since I was a kid. I've been a swimmer my whole life too, and I don't know if that has anything to do with it, from having ear infections or before we started wearing the earplugs, which I do all the time now. So this yarn, treat to myself, Malabrigo, and the colorway Queuay, and I looked up the pronunciation on that, and it's one of those things that, if you don't pronounce all the time, I didn't retain it. But I'm going to insert that, and what that actually means I thought was very interesting. I think it's their worsted. And what I did with the pattern is, because the length of my ears, keeping those warm, and I wanted to break up the color a little bit so I could have something more happier colors transitioning into spring. And I thought this one, that might be kind of fun to put a band. So I stopped short of the pattern, and I think only one of the repeat sections, which is this sort of puff kind of stitch, and then the single crochet, and then I added, I think, 5 rounds of just straight up single crochet, and then that brought me down to get that ear coverage. And then I even went 2 rows more further out on the band to keep the snow or the rain off, and because you know wool, it is naturally water resistant, and the wind's picking up. You can hear the rain. Some of the whooshing sound is traffic from the main road, and we're down here in a little valley, and we get the echoing and the sound down here. But then when the wind picks up, you can hear the trees. And it almost sounds very similar. And they just, to me, they have their own voice. And I just love coming out here and being really still and just listening. But anyway, okay, back to the hat. So I extended the brim a little bit, and then I did the reverse single crochet, and also known as a crab stitch. I did that all the way around. Because otherwise I found if I just end with the single crochet, you don't have a really nice solid base to keep that last round in shape and to have that structure, keep it from stretching out. And mine, it tended to kind of curl because it comes so far down on the back of my neck and on my ears. So by having that reverse single crochet, you can see that all the way around, it gives a really good base for that. So these buttons I got at the yarn shop up north in a town called Colville. They have yarn and fabric, lots of buttons, sewing notions, and they even have a little bead section. So these buttons, they come in a larger size, and these are 1 1/8 inch, 28 meters. And then the smaller ones, 7/8 of an inch, 23 meters in a set of 2. They're by Dill, D-I-L-L, Dill-Buttons. They're made in Germany, which I love. Now these are plastic. See if I can get up close with this one, but they're they look like leather. The way the painting has been done, and it gives that leathery crinkle effect. And then the flower on top, which is an Edelweiss, and I'm looking at it and thinking, oh, this looks so familiar. It was someone else that pointed it out to me, so I was very appreciative of that. And it's kind of an off-white with a little bit of taupe in the center, and in some lighting it almost seems like a little bit silvery, like the small ones do, more so, like a sheen. I don't know if that leathery look is showing up, but they have an incredible selection of Dill-Buttons and really nice metal ones. In fact, the metal ones that I used in my beaded bracelet video are Dill-Buttons also, and I think they're so reasonable. $1.50 for the big one, and $2.20 for the set of 2. So I'm going to turn again, see if I can get a little closer up. You can, there we go, see that on the side. I thought that just really went perfect, and you know, get a nice transition going into spring and into fall. Some happy colors. And so that's what I've been doing to help myself from, you know, getting down, feeling down through the whole virus thing, is I'll put on happy colors. And even though not in the winter season anymore, I had to bring out my little friend here, my polar bear. And it's on the back too. You might have seen me wear this before. Hang on, I dropped my mic. And then I even have some fun earrings. They're my monkeys. The little curl at the top, that's its tail. Can you see that? Pretty cute. I got those at the Santa Barbara Zoo, Santa Barbara, California. One time when we went there, they had a very nice gift shop with some real neat, a lot of artistic types of things. So yeah, this kind of brings a smile on my face and makes me happy. And oh, so okay, so yeah, I got remembered back to the hat. This color here is Hirschner's. It's their daily worsted, and it comes in worsted and DK, and also a bulky, or I might call it a light bulky chunky weight. And this is the color Violet. And it's not as dark as you can see in person, and is exactly what I had hoped and thought it would be. And it takes on, with this hat, a more of a periwinkle, like a darker periwinkle. Hold it against other colors, and it can bring those out too. And I thought it just brought out all the colors really, really well. So comes in tons. Now all the colors are not available in every weight, and it has symbols that correspond to each, so you know what you get, or what you can get and what. Oh gosh, we don't hear sirens very often here at all, so I hope whatever's happening, they will be okay. Alrighty, and then here are more, and then some variegated. Am I getting in close enough? I hope so. And then these are new. They came out with them this year. Oh, love them. The daily watercolors, and you can get them individually or as a set. Oh, I think they're absolutely luscious. Could make a whole project big out of all the colors, I think. That's what I think. And then on the back they have sampler packs too that you can get, and you get a bit of a break on the price. And then when they have their sales, you know, even better. One thing is that I received an email that Hirschner's is not shipping right now due to the coronavirus, and what their governor suggested, the guidelines. And hopefully get a handle on it. It's going to start slowing down and can resume our lives. But gets me thinking even more. And so I try not to watch too much TV. I'm not a big TV watcher anyway, but because it's on like 24/7, I go in for the updates, but not too much, because then my mind just gets consumed with it, and then that tends to be what all I'll think about, and then I have trouble sleeping at night. And even with that, without watching it, too much of it, I'll still think about it at night when I'm laying down, you know. Do you do that? I wonder. I think about the people that are being affected, and there's everything that's going on, but you know, I occupy my mind with things that uplift me and focus more on the positive, while at the same time praying for those that are affected and the loved ones, and you know, our first responders and healthcare workers and people that are putting themselves on the line every single day. And they do that anyway, but now they're even more at risk, and so many have already paid the ultimate price. So thank you all. God bless you for doing what you do, and you know, be safe and stay well. Please be so careful. And so I've been watching like YouTube videos and some cooking videos also, and I'm going to put a link to one that I made yesterday called the Impossible Pie, and it's kind of like a chess pie, if you remember those. And there are lots of them on YouTube, but I think it's called Hillbilly Kitchen is the one that I came across, and that's the recipe that I used. I don't know if they're all the same or if they're little variations here and there, but I did the one as she showed it, except I used almond milk, as I'm sensitive to dairy, and especially with the suggestion that I had, you know, to me, dairy can be very congesting on the body in general. So I don't eat that much anyway. And then even now, I've really cut back on it. Now and then I will have a Haagen-Dazs ice cream, but not very often. Yeah, so I used almond milk, and then I cut way back on the sugar, like by half. And I also cut a little bit back on the butter. So it didn't have as much of the flavor there, but I added pecans. I chopped them up. And so I figured with the fat and the pecans, that's going to add in what I took out with the butter, right? That kind of made sense to me. My husband liked it though, and you'll see when I show you the pie pan. And then what I did is I took a small slice, and then I put fresh strawberries and bananas on top, and then a little bit of raw organic oatmeal just for some texture. To me, the strawberries and the banana was the best part, and then the crust. It's a crustless, and it makes its own crust with, you'll see just how it's done if you want to check it out. It's a real short video, unlike this one. Oh, what do you think? My jacket. I think I'm an official Washingtonian. Eastern Washington. I think anyone here in Eastern Washington probably needs to have at least one camo garment to really be an official resident. My neighbors gave it to me though, not something I sought out. And it even has a thumb port. It's supposed to be like for hand warmers, but I have pretty long arms and I'm long-waisted, so that really doesn't work for me. And hey, say with my long arms, boy, I'm giving that monkey a run for its money, huh? Maybe we could have a climbing competition next when I'm all better. Yeah, my husband and I, we're staying home. You know, when I said early on, I'm about 2 months into it now, because I've hardly been out since the end of January. I set that time up to the ski resort, been to the doctor a couple times. The rest I've been doing, you know, by telemedicine. Had to rearrange all kinds of things too, you know, but we just have to do what works, and that's kind of really the least of it at this point, as long as we can take care of our needs. And lo and behold, when he went to the store today, he actually found some toilet paper and paper towels. Shock. Not our brand of choice, but hey, you know, sure beats newspaper. And not that we've had to resort to that, but hey, in a pinch, you have to do what you have to do sometimes. So I said, you know, whenever you go, whatever the limit is, if it's one pack, get it so we have it, because whatever gets on the shelves, it's just gone in a flash anyway. Oh, you saw I did get out to Michael's and Hobby Lobby's, but that was within one of my maybe like 4 outings that I've had since January. Not that I'm counting or anything. Okay, so back to the grocery store. He bought 100 proof vodka. Yeah, and he doesn't drink, neither of us do. Oh, I might have a glass of wine, maybe like once a year. And I do enjoy wine. It just doesn't like me, and I don't tolerate it well, so I don't imbibe. But he bought the vodka and made his own hand sanitizer and spray, and he put it in a spray bottle, and he keeps it with him in the truck, so when he goes to the grocery store, and then he can mist down the bags and even some of the boxes and things we get, and clean off the steering wheel and whatever. So there, he found the recipe online, and he mixed that with aloe vera gel, and then he put in witch hazel. And optionally, you can add essential oil. I suggest that it's good quality. We have therapeutic grade, and I get all mine from Eden's with an S Garden. And in the U.S., they have free shipping, any minimum. And they eliminate the middle person, and that's why their prices are so phenomenal. I mean, you get top quality. It's really great. Anyway, just I'm not affiliated. I'm just letting you know. So he added eucalyptus, which is terrific. For me, if I were to put some in a squirt bottle, a little travel one, keep in my purse, I would probably add lavender to mine. But you know, you can put some in or leave it out. So if you can't find alcohol on the shelf, and it has to be a higher content, I think, than your rubbing alcohol. There's a certain percentage that it needs to be in order to really be effective. And remember, yeah, not touching my face. My goodness, how many times, you know, that's been drilled into me since I was a kid, actually, and even my parents knew, you know, bacteria on the hands. And you have a little tickle or an itch, and it's just a habit to put the hand up there. And even when I was turning pages today, looking, I almost did the, you know, thumb to thing here, but I stopped myself. So that's good, you know, being more mindful, more conscious of what we're doing in our movements. So we're being really careful there. But I even saw my neighbor out on the road, and we chatted for a few the other day at about 20 or 25 yard pace away from each other. So just wanted to throw that out there. It's, you know, for the sanitizer, if you cannot find anything else, and you can even use that to wipe surfaces down too. I hope you're doing well and enjoying what you can do, what you're able to do. And that's what I'm going to continue doing myself. And, you know, whatever it takes to lift up the spirits. All right, well, thanks for hanging out while I'm just chatting away here. Okay, take care, my friends. Sending love. And I'll see you soon. All right. Bye for now. Well, I finished up and went in just in time because the wind picked up, cooled down, and now we're getting some hail. Uh-oh. Did you hear that crack? Sounded like we lost a tree over there too. I think a tree just fell from the wind, probably, and all the saturation too. You know, some of these pine trees are pretty shallow rooted.